Welcome back to Freedom by Creative Design Studios. This is the second part of this great talk with author Nathan Colston, who has books available at Amazon. If you're just tuning in, I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
And I gave it to her. I don't know, never looked back, didn't think nothing of it, still don't know, still haven't looked back. I was thinking I could have done better. It was wintertime and I was stuck in York, Nebraska. There's a Petro there. I think the interstate was shut down. I was going to be laid over the weekend. I went in and bought a movie. I ain't going to lie, and I ain't going to give out the name. But I'm a fan of Bigfoot, and I bought a movie about Bigfoot. It was a continuation of a documentary. I sat in awe as I watched this movie that gave, if you called it a second-rate movie, would insult second-rate movies. But I was in awe because it was a story I told when I was 7 or 8 years old. I researched it, the release date on it, and it was generally around that time, shortly afterwards. I don't know what took place, but I do know this. The only thing that changed in that story was the fact that Bigfoot ate my homework. That got me to thinking. My teacher had said that she had watched Lord of the Rings and said it was close. I thought it was close to what I said. A lot of the lines was very close. So that's me and her that are thinking alike. Well, I thought back and I tried to remember some people that was in the class when I told the story about Bigfoot eating my homework. And I thought up about 7 people, about 5 to 7 people. I found 5. I sat down with them, under the pretense of catching up on old times because I drove a truck and I was very seldom home. All 5 of them remembered me telling the story about Bigfoot eating my homework. And 3 out of the 5 remembered the story about the king and his swords. And we all laughed and joked, and they agreed that the king and the swords was a lot better than Bigfoot eating my homework. That was when realization hit me. Maybe there was something to this woman believing in me. Now, I'm going to talk life with you folks. I ain't going to sugarcoat it. Someone who can't form a sentence starts out a career as a writer. He's going up against a stacked deck. Ain't no sense in lying or fooling myself. And that's what I was doing. All right. I'm not the type of person that wallows in sorrow. I may have my negative points, but don't we all? We know what our strong points in life is and what our weaknesses are. Me, back then, and even now today, when it comes to me trying to learn, I have the attention span of a gnat, and it flies away just as fast. And yet, here I am, trying to change my career to something that is totally out of my league. Okay? Painting all doom and gloom, ain't I? Let's stop and look at that for a second. I'm not in denial. A lot of people set out to do something. They say, I can do this. I'm going to do this. and they base their happiness upon the success of what they're doing. They strive to be better, and when they're not better, they're disappointed because their happiness is based upon the success. Do I want to be successful? Yes, I do. Am I going to be successful? Well, I face the same challenge as every other author in that department. It is not me that determines my success. Yes, I play the role of presenting my work to the readers, but it is the readers that make me successful. Is everyone going to like my style of writing? No, they're not. I'm not in denial of that either. But there are those out there that will. I listen to those that don't like my style of writing. Why? Because it is a fact. You learn more from your failures than you do with your successes. Because when you are successful at something, you think, how can I make this better? See, we're going back to the first part. How can I make this better? And when you don't, it affects your mood. It affects you. Well, I knew I could have done better. I don't know what, yada, yada, yada. I write because I love to write. I love to tell my stories. Did I start out best-selling material? No, I did not. But I am not the very first person to ever fail multiple times to go on to become successful. And I've already done said that my success is not in my hands. Yes, I can need to present a decent story, something that will catch people's eyes, but it is those people that like my style of writing that will make me successful. I know this. So I'm not in denial. I said that I set out to do something and midstream released it not expecting it, that it would be that the story didn't go in order. Okay. I'm not the only one to ever do that. About the only one that I know that has done that and has been successful at it is George Lucas. Watch Star Wars A New Hope. Starts out reading episode 4. His story was vast, so he released the part, not knowing what it would do. I did the exact same thing. Now, I'm not comparing my story or writing with George Lucas's. Just the situation of release is similar. It's not that I am negative. If you say something constructive to me that is negative, I will take the constructiveness of that negativity and I will turn it around and apply it better to myself. But I don't listen to just one person. You know, everybody has a right to an opinion. It's kind of like that saying. One person says something, take it with a grain of salt. 2 people say something, you might want to listen to it. 3 or more says the same thing, and there's something to it. I listened to everything everybody said, and a lot of them were saying basically the same thing, and I applied it, and I started over to make the story as best as I could. I'm not alone in that process. I'm about to run out of time, and I'll tell you 2 people that I know of that done the same thing similar. The first one is a guy that owns Prime Incorporated. He did it. He failed 2 or 3 times before he became one of the largest refrigerated carriers in the United States. And I leave you with a quote from someone else who had failed, stopped, and had to restart over. And that was Walt Disney. And before he died, he had started a franchise that was worldwide, and he said, quote, just think, all of this started with a dream and a mouse. Have a nice day, folks.